It's our very last day of Pro League here for Division B before we head on over to CWL Anaheim. And this is going to be the last chance for some of these teams to secure spots, get those top fours, get wins that are desperately needed. I'm your host, Katie Bedford, joined by Nameless, Study, and Pac-Man. And guys, these weeks have felt like they've flown by, honestly. And I know CWL Anaheim is right around the corner, but then we've just got some cross-div after this. And then we're off to Miami, and I'm gonna miss you guys.
I know the season's wrap it up.
Flying, man.
It's going so quick. These teams better get in form. There's some big money coming up. These are the big tournaments. These are the most exciting ones. Anaheim with the big crowd, playoffs, champs. I'm very excited.
Yeah, there's certainly a lot on the line, and kind of getting into form to that point, we want to start off talking about Envy and kind of what's been going wrong with them, and that's kind of our theme. Like, basically, what's wrong with them? And I had talked to Aches a little bit about this, like from his opinion, what's happening, and he told me essentially, and I quote, they go brain dead. In scrims, they're having success, but it's not transferring for them onto stage. He said that they're forgetting situational plays and, quote, what to do in certain situations. And he's not quite sure why they can do it in scrims, but not on the stage. I want to get your guys' thoughts on that.
I just think Envy's pacing is just super off. Like yesterday, we heard it in the comms. Hook was yelling out, go, 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 and then he ends up being the first person to go in. I just feel like people are just not doing what they need to do for the team, and it's just not meshing well when it comes to the rotations on the maps.
Well, you know, that discussion that you just brought up, it concerns me because it's not like he's saying he knows like what the problem is, right? Like it's just they think they know how to play it, and then they get to the match and they don't. So that means that they're not actively making much progression. Right? They go and they scrim, and it's like, okay, we're fine. Then you get into the match, and you know,
it's not fine.
It's not fine, exactly. So I think they need to do a better job of watching their gameplay and realizing, like, hey, yeah, we are too slow on this hill. Like, we should not be waiting right here. We should be going. Like, there's situations where Envy is way too slow on hardpoint, and it leads to these teams coming back at them. And, you know, that's why a player like Kismet can go 46 and 19 or whatever, some
41 and 22, yeah.
Whatever crazy stat line he had against them, because he's hyper aggressive and they're allowing him to get into these positions. So that's something Envy definitely needs to work on.
Also in scrims, you have time to warm up in scrims. So a lot of times you'll lose the first map in scrims, you're going to win the rest of the maps, and you won't even remember the first map because who cares? It was the first map of scrim, you warm up, you get into that flow. But since they're losing all of their S&Ds, if they lose that first map, it lingers in their head. They know they're going to a game type that they just cannot win at this moment. And right there, they just put themselves on the back foot. So mentally, it takes them out of the game. That's what happens when you're struggling so hard in one mode. You put so much extra pressure on yourself in the other ones. It just makes it difficult to win.
So being like 0-7 in search, you're like, we have to start off 1-0.
Have to win the hard
We're
point.
buried in this series, so it puts that much more added pressure, which is going to lead to you choking.
Right, and then if you lose a close one like they did yesterday, lost 250 to 245. Once you lose a close hard point, and then you know you're going in that search and destroy, it just breaks your back as a team. You just are terrified going into the rest of the series at that point.
All right, well, we also need to talk about 100 Thieves because they have secured their playoff bracket slot. One of the three who have done so, along with Optic and E United, so congratulations to them. But again, they lost one series to United, but looking strong as ever. And again, E United, recaps from yesterday, they all flew through their matches, it felt like.
Yeah, we had a neighbor on the desk, and he was basically telling us that match versus E United was a wake-up call for them. They felt like they were just cruise control, just riding through this, and then obviously losing the way they did to E United was a wake-up call, just losing the fashion that they did. And then eventually they started playing the same exact maps in the following series after E United, and then just progressing, especially on payload S&D. They won 6-1 yesterday. It was a dominant performance, and hopefully they're able to keep that up.
Yeah, 100 Thieves series yesterday was one of the fastest series I've ever watched in my entire life.
28 minutes.
You could tell that they were angry and that they've been, you know, scrimming and trying to improve and get back to being that championship caliber team, because you do get on cruise control sometimes when you're here. And you know, we saw Octane starting off maps with full streaks, not even dying. We saw Kenny have a great performance. Across the board, it was the exact performance you expect to see out of a team that just won an event going up against a team like Elevate.
That is true, and again, I think also on that note, I do remember, Pac, that I think E United got that very first like flawless control control round. So I mean, in terms of teams that are coming out really hot, like you see 100T looking good as ever, E United looking good as ever.
The top teams are actually making it. Like, this is the first time in Black Ops 4 where the top teams are truly spreading themselves out.
Drawing a line in the sand.
Right. I think it was Optic at the first event. They truly looked better than even Splice, and United got second. But there was a true gap there. But then after that, it was so close, you never knew. And right now, there's 3 teams that are clearly ahead of the pack, and it's showing.
Yeah. Okay, let's look at our schedule for the day. Again, 4 matches before we are done, starting off with Denial versus E6, followed by Elevate Envy, Heretics, and ending with 100T and Splice. So that'll definitely be an exciting way to end out the day. But first, let's also look at our standings, because again, that top 4, especially those top 2, separating themselves out, as we've said, from the rest of the pack. And it looks like going the way it is, that our top 4 is Nameless pretty much going to be our top 4.
Yeah, most likely. The cross-divisional may change this up a little bit, but this is looking like this is going to be our top 4. Heretics seem to be able to take some games down now. They switched back to their roles, and 100T and EU, I'd probably lock them in 1 and 2, even throughout the cross-divisional. And I'm thinking Splice may make another change and become even a better team, and they look fantastic right now, so yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yeah, and of course, again, our first match, you can see it there in division standings as well, is going to be that E6 Denial, who are at the bottom of that division. But let's pull up our pools and take a look at what's going on there, because we have some knowns and a lot of unknowns. You can see it up top, of course. Optic, first place, they got that first seed. United in Pool B, 100T in Pool D, and FaZe in Pool C, and kind of how things are all starting to play out.
You know what's cool about this is a lot of people consider this your top 4 teams in the game.
Yeah.
So you have them spread out to different pools. It's going to be pretty even spread, and you know that's great to see, because I think if you ask the community who your top 4, this is what it would be.
It's setting Anaheim up to be a crazy tournament. Hopefully, no offense to all the other teams, hopefully all these teams get first place in their pools, and then you're going to see some crazy winners semis matches, crazy matches in winter finals. It's setting up to be an amazing tournament at Anaheim.
Yeah, that's very true. And all right, we do need to talk about our first series of the day. However, I've said it a couple times, it's going to be Denial versus Enigma6. And E6 has found a little more success this week than they have beforehand. And Pac-Man, come to that point, what do you think this matchup means for E6?
This would be extremely important to closing out their week. Just the way they managed to actually win that match yesterday was the first time they closed out when the game got close against Envy in that first map. In the past, they would have found a way to lost that. Yesterday, they managed to clutch it up and then went on to win 3-0, and it was an amazing match for those guys. So if they can go out as strong heading into Anaheim, that'll just give them so much confidence within themselves that they can actually do it.
And then Nameless, I wonder, kind of in terms of this whole team, like what Pac said, we've seen that they can start to close things out. Will you have a little more confidence in them if they can continue to close things out here against Denial?
Yeah, I'll have a lot more confidence in them, just because I thought that they were pretty solid even last week when they were choking all those games. And you know, I was starting to lose confidence in them. Like they just don't have any ice in their veins. They can't close it out. And, you know, they weren't calm in their games. We talked to them, and they were saying that it was just getting really hectic. And then yesterday, something changed, right? It gets to the final moments of that hard point, they close it out. Like, hey, we can do this. And they end up winning that 3-0 versus Envy, who's had some trouble, but nevertheless a very solid, talented roster. Going up against Denial, I expect E6 to have a great series. Denial has not been that great in hardpoint, and I think that that's something that E6 can capitalize on, right? So I think this will be tremendous for their confidence, and it can, you know, maybe give them that boost that they need to make a top 8 run going into Anaheim.
Study, do you think then perhaps E6 has the edge here over Denial, or are there positives you see in Denial that you think could maybe give them the edge?
They definitely have the edge over Denial in this series, because the confidence boost that they got off of that series yesterday versus Envy felt like everything to them. Every single player in that series was over 1.0 KD.
They're smiling, good vibes.
Yesterday, Denial plays E United, and none of them were over 1.0 KD. They only won the Search and Destroy in a 6-4 fashion, but every other respawn was just absolutely, they just got destroyed. And so we're expecting the superstar players out of Brack and out of Alex just to be able to put on these performances. And when they don't put on these performances, then they're just going to be a struggling team.
Well, Brack's been pretty consistent. I think the problem with Denial is that their hardpoint has not been that great at all. And you know, they're thinking about making a role swap. I was talking to Bance yesterday, and he may run the main ICR today, and Rated will run a Maddox.
How do you feel about that?
I don't know if they're going to do that for this match, but he said that that's looking like what they're going to run going into the next event. So I think that it can help them. I think having, you know, Rated with the Maddox, he can pick up streaks, be more involved, you know, naturally pick up his pace. And having Bance with that ICR, I think he'll be a little bit faster as well, because they believe that they're a little bit too slow. But yeah, I think that could be something that can benefit this roster a lot in the respawn.
Well, we will see if we'll see those role swaps now or later at Anaheim, but we're ready to get things started with Denial versus Enigma6, and we're going to hand it over to Ben and Chance.
Thank you so much, Katie. Thank you to the guys on the desk. This the last chance opportunity now for a couple of teams to maybe try out something new going into Anaheim, or just try and fix any possible mistakes. But the first couple of games should be interesting. Maybe some Game 5s on the horizon. We'll wait and see. Hopefully, the standard of gameplay, though, is pretty high.
So what I'm looking for in this one, if it goes Game 5, I want E6 to win. And I know you're saying bias, you hate it. But if it's a 3-0 or 3-1, I think I want Denial to win, because both these teams at the bottom of their division, whoever loses solidified at the bottom, or at least like until for Anaheim, whatever, playoffs are going to be different. But they're both at the bottom. They both need a win just to feel good for vibes, to build some of that momentum. I think, especially Denial maybe a little bit more so, because E6 has been playing a lot of teams close. But the reason I say I want E6 to come out on top, should it be a Game 5? And I will change my tune once that Game 5 rolls around and get rid of the bias. But they had a really good search and destroy record back at London, like 4-1, whatever it was.
Yep.
But then all of their losses in the league, they've lost like 3 or 4 Game 5s.
It's been bad.
The Game 5s, they just haven't. That's like the final, well, one of the final steps for this E6 team to make those like next improvements. Then for Denial, just get more pressure under your belt. Just start like slaying teams out. Have those like big games. Like, we've had players with those big performances, but the team not so much.
It was weird. I think I saw a scoreboard from the last Denial hardpoint that we actually casted. And it was basically Brack and Alex with, I think it was like a 1.2 each, and everybody else on the team 0.7.
Yeah.
And it's kind of what you expect in a weird type of way. They're the two superstars, but you can't have everyone else underperforming by that significant margin. There needs to be a time where Rated will step up, right? You look at Rated just in terms of how successful he was last year. Fantastic player, really one of the best, right? A lot of grand final performances. And then you look at this year, and it hasn't been the same. So for me, this is the last game we're going to see Rated before Anaheim, where he can really just try and focus on those small things, and hopefully come Anaheim, you get to see that beast back out again.
And that's why I think like the vibes, the mentality is a huge factor for so many teams right now, of just to be able to play with confidence, because like the core of the Denial squad, like have a top 6, top 8 placing under their belt this year. Like at the last event, or not at the last event, but the event before that, like they were there. And like if you start getting in your head, like right before a tournament, like this final match, again, it cannot be understated enough. I just think is incredibly important. And I mean, so far so good from both teams. Yep. Pretty competitive both ways. Denial, of course, holding the back spawns, but E6 from the front, fairly decent job. It looks like enough have just gotten wiped out. General, the last man standing. So E6 is thinking about the rotation. Denial, they want all that scrap.
Problem for Kismet, though, on that rotation is he's actually found himself in a 1v3. Good luck, have fun. Finally, the reinforcements come. It's got RX and Frosty there to assist. Kismet finds Alex. Down 2 more to try and take care of. Unable to do so, but Frosty's there. More reinforcements for Denial, but this is a very good rotation so far from E6.
And again, they actually fought for that scrap time pretty hard. They sent 2 players over, General and Jet Li. They got the scrap time. Now they got to hold on. GodRX trying to stay alive. He gets taken down. And the back spawns are fairly split. Like E6 is hunting them down, trying to chase the players that spawn up from the back. But Denial's through. So E6 calculated it. They try to put the pressure on the last hill, thinking they can make the hold with a couple less players. So far, not so good. But obviously, it's still very scrappy, back and forth. But the kill feed, it seems more often than not, has been going the way of Denial.
Seems that way, but still a lot of pressure from E6 because they put a big focus onto controlling those spawns. You saw the flank come through about 40 seconds. And well, now with 20, still Denial hold. And still, E6 with the favorable spawn, so credit to Denial there as Alex shuts down what might be the final E6 push. You're going to have to stay there, Alex, and pick up the hill time. His teammates start the rotation. Rated's covering mid-map. He's a couple of kills away from a Tempest. Well, in actual fact, he's going to earn it right there. And also very, very close to some streaks. 260. You could invest the Tempest maybe to try and earn those streaks. Some EKAs would be lovely, but a Maddox in the back pocket tries to push through window. Teammate not able to find the kill first.
Yeah, that's just one of those moments you feel the pressure, like I want to get the streaks, but this is a lot of time we're giving away and our teammates aren't breaking in the hill. I need to make a play, but no success there, and E6 will be very happy about the results. They've gotten a pretty solid hold so far on this hill, like the 5th lead exchange we've had, and well, they're looking good. Pressure from the front. Yep.
So far, so good. Tempest is out, and I will say the one thing about E6 is the first kind of half of a hardpoint game tends to be very, very good. It's the struggle's coming really in the second half, and that's what they really need to try try and fix and cement, and we'll see if they're going to be able to do so here, because, again, in terms of the second to last hard point of our first rotation, E6 with the lead, 93 to 83, and growing. Brack looking to maybe go for one last contest, but with 8 seconds, simply is no point. Rotation, much better, as rated. You're going to see if he can find any of the E6 players on outskirts. He's going to be unsuccessful in that. Brack, meanwhile, with a bit of a job to do over towards Kitchen.
Yeah, you see those tack hit markers. You don't want to fly in. You know their gunner's going to be up very quickly, so he's doing his best job to stay alive. So far, so good. He finds one, knows the pressure's coming in through the pipes area, takes down Frosty with the final bullet, securing the back spawns. His teammates are there, but his teammates don't need to do much when it comes to the flank. He was doing it all himself. Finally gets taken down, and Joe's just been hanging out waiting, like, well, they haven't made it here yet. We're safe inside the hill. This is going great.
Yeah, really easy. It's always going to be the effect when Brack is finding, multiple kills on the outside of the hill. Makes your players inside the hill's life just a little bit easier, as another lead change could be coming through. 19 seconds left of this hill. E6 already have control of P1, and Jet Li might be fighting for that scrap. He's found himself the first, he's found himself the second. Wonderfully done. Scrap back to E6. Another lead change. E6 with the advantage at the half.
It is multiple specialists coming in from E6. General's an inch away from the Tempest. Kismet's got his. Frosty's near his, and Jet Li has the grab slam on the flip side. And Alex with the grab, and everything else a little bit farther behind.
Jet Li just won an incredible fight against Alex. Alex was pre-aiming from Kitchen, and Jet Li still won the fight, still has grab slam, and he's deflecting so much pressure. Now close to streaks as well. He may actually invest the grab slam quickly. Could have found 2, not the case. No streaks for anyone so far, Chance.
And I'm very happy, honestly, if E6, if they want to make the play call towards this second hill, pop 1 or 2 of the specialists, go for a combination. You got the vision pulse, and early is not a terrible time to use it, because obviously Joe is not going to be able to counter back, but here comes the War Machine from the side of Denial, trying to get pressure onto the first. You see all these players laying down, trying to hide from these nades, and they get picked apart one by one. And keep in mind, you got rated on the minimap. He has been in the neck still for the past 10 seconds. He's working on this rotation, and I think for E6, this might be the time. Call one of them in. There you go. Frosty using the vision.
Jet Li's had a phenomenal first rotation, 20 and 16. He sits at as Vance finds one. That was Kismet that fell. Grav Slam was it tried to invest there unsuccessfully. Alex caught him. How much did it cost? 50% of his charge is now depleted. They're now still holding onto the hill, and again, Chance, I think we're going to have a lead change.
And this is beyond massive. You just burned the vision. You got rid of half of that grab slam from the side of E6. I was thinking E6 start burning all these specialists and just make an insurmountable lead. Instead, they lost the lead. They lost a couple specialists, and granted, they're going to take that lead right back, and it's going to get scrappy, but now you got a moment where Brack might get streaks in E6. They tried so hard, use the specialists, make the big play, and it is a dire situation. Granted, still a close game, but Brack, he's looking for the next one. He's got the teammate support for the Hellstorm, and now they have that for the rotation. You got the Lightning and the Hellstorm on the wide open hill. Denial's in a great spot.
Of course, you get the scrap time as well, which is absolutely massive. When you have those streaks, it allows you to rotate just a little bit later. However, the Hellstorm unsuccessful. There is still the Lightning available if he wants to invest it, but you have control of the hill, and now it could be their turn to use the specialist too.
And that is General, by the way, that just burned the Tempest. So we have had multiple completely unsuccessful specialist users coming out of E6. Yeah. Honestly, just in the past 2 hills, but really the entire game. Maybe God or X will have a pretty good TAC 5. But other than that, like, you're relying on Kismet to make a play, but other than that, Denial, maybe not you're picking up triple kills, but you're locking down the back, you're getting all this time, you're using your specialist and getting something out of it.
And just remember, the point I made about E6 and their hard point was, first rotation seems fine, second rotation where things start to pull away, and just maybe as a reason for that, maybe it is their specialist usage as a whole and how sometimes they get outperformed by other teams and their specific specialist usage.
Oh, I've definitely seen some poor ones in the past, but
that was really bad. That was bad.
And that was a bad series, too. That was, you try to combine seeing through walls in the grab slam that destroys everything near you, and you get literally nothing out of both, and now Brack is on a 9 spree. He's like trying to double up on his streaks that he's already gotten. There's number 10. He decided not to die. And he started this when he was being vision pulse. He used the Hellstorm to get control of the last tilt. Now he has the Lightning Strike to get control of this one. And frankly, he still might just go and get more streaks.
And I think, did they just pop vision? They did. Yep, they did as well. So it's even easier. And well, that's how you use a Tempest. There's 3 for rated. It's exactly as I said. The writing was on the wall before the series even happened. Brack again, looking for that final 145 points. There's players around him. He's been bamboozled there. There's a War Machine to the face. It's one way of shutting down Brack, I'll give you that, but 242, 168, the game pretty much over at this point.
And I mean, he got streaks. You even need him. Like, Rated had a great start. Obviously, fantastic game. Brack at some point just virtually took over. But this game was tied, and E6 was winning the specialist progression battle. But on top of that, if you do a kill count, maybe 6 or 7 specialist kills from the side of Denial. I don't even know if we saw one from the side of E6. Maybe one came through with the vision. That is just smarter play in effect. Smarter specialist usage got Denial that win.
It's another one of those hard points. E6 will go back, they'll watch the VOD. They'll think, how did we let that slip away? The small mistakes at crunch time. And we said it really from the start of the year. You know, if you earn your specialists first and you invest them first, that can give you a massive margin into the game.
And admittedly, some unfortunate things can just happen. Like sometimes you have a grab, it's set up, and a dude just like beats you down. There's unfortunate situations, but when it spirals out of control and every single one you get no use out of at all, except maybe a little bit of impact with the War Machine, well, it's horribly ineffective.
TAC 5 for health.
Well, the TAC 5 was great. I didn't even see it though, so maybe not.
Yeah,
I have no idea.
That's true. But yeah, one thing's for sure. 3 very unhelpful specialists. 1 maybe a little helpful at best, but
it was rough.
Overall, not the start you want there if you're an E6 fan. And obviously, Denial come over. They take map number 1. Now for the rest of the series, how's it looking in your mind?
Well, I mean, E6, again, they've been a fairly strong search and destroy as of late. Outside of the game 5, so I expect a bounce back. I'm not saying outright they'll just destroy Denial, but I have faith in them. And in my mind, this series has a game 5 written all over it. It really does, of just 2 teams towards the bottom of the division, just fighting for that little bit of life. And honestly, fairly comparable, make a bunch of roster changes there. Almost as similar as you could get, outside of being completely different in 1 NA, 1 EU-ish.
Well, obviously, I was talking a lot about Rated and how, in my mind, he's a player who definitely needs to improve. On the other side for E6, of course, it was General with a relatively slow start. Didn't have the impact he really would have liked in a series. Again, their last series before we're going to see them play at Anaheim. I know Jess caught up with both of those, so we'll hear what she had to say in a little bit. But Chance, heading into that Search and Destroy E6, it's going to be so important for them to win.
Absolutely. And again, they just have to get the momentum back. Make sure you just start getting these consistent rounds against these, top teams in the world. Build any amount of momentum for Anaheim that you can.
Well, momentum is definitely going to be key. And as I said, Jess caught up with Rated in general.
Thank you, Ben. That's right. And so when I spoke with Rated, he knows that they're in just a terrible position. And he said, well, we're bad, but E6 is a lot worse, so we should beat them. And if we don't, it'll just be ultimately chalked. He also added that he, of course, has no idea really of the future of Denial or really what's going on, unfortunately. Over on the side of E6, I spoke to General, and I was expecting his attitude to just be ecstatic coming off of that 3-0, but his response was, we closed out. I think he's still kind of feeling the pressure and knowing that they're down toward the bottom of the scoreboard, and he is kind of letting that affect him. But here in the series versus Denial, he says that the key is to not underestimate them. So let's see how the rest of the series goes. Ben and Chance, back over to you.
Thank you very much, Jess. And, well, from Rated's perspective, that kind of sums it up perfectly.
We're bad, but they're worse. Oh, okay, so that's what we're saying.
Ultimately chalked. Of course, on the flip side there for E6, surprised, because I would have thought, kind of similar to what Jess was kind of alluding to there, that maybe they would have had a little bit more momentum coming through, but General, cool, calm, collected, knows, well, we just got to get results now because we're trying to fight for playoffs.
I think E6 has like the ultimate takeaway of be like, look, if we switch just any of these game 5s around, we're starting to beat some of these top teams.
Yeah.
So I think they have a much easier route to be optimistic come Anaheim. They kind of honestly bar even the result of like this series, let's say, for that purpose, because you just look back to the past series, but that's why it's important. You have to make sure you beat the teams at the bottom. Because if you have this mentality of we switch those game 5s around, we're beating the best teams in the world, but then you come out and lose to the team that's at the bottom right there with you, it can be devastating. And then decide for Denial. Probably worst case scenario for things to be ultimately chalked. I'm not entirely sure what that means, but I have like a rough estimate. And again, it comes down to the confidence in the momentum, in the vibes of a team that can honestly make or break teams. And we've had a couple teams that have fallen apart because of vibes.
Just a few. And the one really interesting thing to me about this Denial squad as well is, regardless of the result of this game, right? Let's just say they go to Anaheim. Say they finish outside the top 8. You're almost, at that point, guaranteeing some form of a change that will come through with that squad. It's almost a certainty. Almost, of course, being the key word there. But you could see Brack maybe look on somewhere else. There's definite options that you could see changes happen. Last roster change period, of the year, with the 2 biggest events coming up, if you have a bad Anaheim, that could be the end of your team as you know it.
I say it's such a make or break it. Like, I was trying to imagine, I don't know what event we've had the largest number of least confident teams. Because I'm trying to think of the number of teams that will go into Anaheim like completely confident that like we're gonna have a fantastic performance, and it's maybe like 4 or 5.
I was gonna say maybe 4, yeah. 4 at best.
And then everyone else is just some weird purgatory kind of land of, yeah, it's like if you have a good result, great, okay, bounce back. But then like if it comes out, and with how much competition there genuinely is, like we've already seen this year, anyone can end up in the top 16.
Right.
Anyone.
And here's the crazy part. For certain teams, a bad result might actually be better. Force a change as opposed to maybe give you some fake optimism for the biggest 2 events of the year. As so far in this round, 3v3. 7 seconds left, and Brack will fall.
No, Brack will die. Brack will kill everyone.
I thought Brack should have died there, but no, he finds himself 2. So Kismet now for the 1v3. Alex is on the bomb. He is defusing. And Brack has connector completely covered. He finds the first, but the trade is there.
I'll take that. If I'm that man on the 1v3, at least I kill Brack. It is a hopeless situation, but so analytical play breakdown. So Denial won this round because Brack just went and killed everything. He won that gunfight. He was one shot. Jet Li hits him with the bullet in there after. Brack wins the second. He just went and shut him down. And that little smirk is like, yeah, smirk. I just shut them down.
Single-handedly. Wonderful stuff from him. I thought for a certainty there, Jet Li was going to trade it, but not the case.
Former teammates, man.
Denial 1-0 up. Good point. 1-0 up here as they now will look over towards the A site. Joe instantly on bomb duty, as you expect with him. Decides to maybe push a little bit further forward. The bomb not in the best spot after he falls, but Denial kind of are. 3v2.
That's a kill feed of perfect trades up until the very end, and Denial makes short work of E6 in that round. And, well, we've said a lot about E6. Really great at search and destroy. This is a map especially that they definitely love to play on. Granted, we're only 2 rounds in, but Denial has, in effect, stuffed them.
Yes. Yes. That round.
And that little smirk sums it all up.
This time it's Bence with the smiles. There's a moment where you thought maybe Joe had just pushed a little too far forward, but not the case. Teammates there, covered his back. Bence the 3-0 start, Brack the 4-1 start, so Bence theoretically working towards some streaks. 375 is what he's going to need. GodRx was up top, he backs away. Kismet first to Rock. Already first blood's come through, nade for nade. And Denial just flies straight through, and the only Denial player that's fallen is Joe, and that was due to Alex's nade himself. E6, time to wake up.
Well, General's going to get taken down. GodRx potentially going to fall in short order. Of course, if ideally you get Vance this killer, someone working towards streaks if you can, but maybe not a huge deal, just someone kill him. GodRx dancing in between everybody, and there you go. Vance is the guy that gets the final kill, so you talked about he's teetering on the edge towards some score streaks. Now he's just a little bit closer, maybe 275 off. But either way, that is another round where Denial just makes short order of E6. And I will say, I think it was Momo and Miles casting over E6 on this map yesterday, and they said, if I ever play against General, I know exactly where he is going to be, and it's in the water. So eventually, teams might start to figure the details out.
Small intricate details.
The mysteries of a team of, oh, thermal ICR in the water repeatedly. We got this.
3-0 Denial. As Bance is calling out frantically, let me tell you. You can hear that from here. Honestly, they might just wrap as quickly as possible now. Bear in mind, again, Bance still working towards streaks and has a nade to use. However, GodRx on the defensive side has already spotted Brack, and that may be enough information to force his teammates to rotate. Rated lingered over towards B. He's going to be the last Denial player to just pick up the flank, make sure his teammates are A-OK. Bomb goes down. It was Bance that planted, so again, even closer he will become to those streaks as Frosty finds the first pick. Bance will fall. No streaks for Denial. This surely E6's first round.
Jet Li certainly did his job with the damage on the second player. And, well, Joe Falls rated is next. That was a round of nades. is the way I look at that. So you get clearance towards the bomb. You know GodRx has that ICR that almost certainly is going to have FMJ on it. You got to keep him away from the spot where he can wallbang the bomb side, right? So you throw an aid over towards the backside of fences in between the fence and tin. You clear that out, you get the bomb down. Now from the other side, Frosty's thinking, we know a guy's outer fence. We've already spotted him. It's a power position. We need to take him down. You throw the Kobe over top. You kill the man in the power position, and then you have clearance to flood up this right side. Where does Kismet go? Straight up this side, and you turn the other team into mincemeat.
Kismet didn't even hesitate. Straight over, challenges connector, finds the last kill. And from there, the defuse was easy. 3 kills that round. He also called his teammate off the defuse so he could get it for the extra points. Maybe some extra progression towards the war machine. I mean, you need to play very, very well, but he is the closest, theoretically. That was, of course, E6's first round win. As now, it's their turn to just try and make their way over towards the A site. This time, Denal being very aggressive, and it might actually cost them. First 2 kills in favor of E6. Alex responds. He's traded out. Again, another round here. E6 should be able to comfortably put to bed.
Brack has definitely been spotted multiple times. That player will happily slide back and forth. Frosty was very tunnel visioned on Brack, who was never going to be able to get through connector. So he is going to fall, but either way, you still got a 3v2. You're in a solid spot. However, Rated has been in positions like this before. We shut players down, and now the man planting bomb potentially could get wallbang. Brack can make a play, but he does get out, and he does not get out for free, though. Brack finds the kill. You got a 2v2.
I was going to say, it actually wasn't. It was a deceptive situation. E6, although, yes, they had the numerical advantage in Bomb It, they were by no means in control of the situation, and now it's a 2v1. Rated and Brack have played this so well. They have the read on GodRx. Now they know exactly where he is. All comes down to Brack winning probably the easiest gunfight he's going to have. Rated can now defuse the bomb, and voila, a perfect retake. Very well played from Denal.
That's definitely a way to phrase it. I would definitely phrase it horribly played by E6.
I mean, it starts here, right? It starts with the tunnel vision from Jet Li.
Well, Frosty.
Or sorry, the tunnel vision from Frosty. As soon as Rated gets that pick, even though the Denal players are so separated, they play it so well because they know that if you're E6, you can't wrap out.
This honestly reminds me of Game #1, where it's just like decisions on like the specialist just cost you, or bad plays. It's Frosty gets killed without shooting back. Jet Li gets killed without shooting back. Granted, he planted the bomb, whatever. Next guy gets killed without shooting back. GodRx shot back, but he was forced to fly through the well archway. It was a hopeless gunfight. So you have 3 players die in a 4 versus 2 without firing your gun at the opponent. That's not okay. It's, not good.
It's chalked.
Almost ultimately chalked, man. We're not quite there. Almost.
Getting there. 4-1. Denal comfortable. Bomb being planted over towards A. Kismet could be in a position to maybe find a pick here if he's fast. Again, does have the teammate support, but Denal have backed away. Now, Rated is playing super deep, watching the flank. There's going to be almost no need for that. He's going to get that information very, very soon. Meanwhile, Brack is just biding his time. Player jumps over the fence. That should be an easy one for him. He is traded out, though. Now you have to look for following trades to come through. Rated peaks. Rated dies. Alex has also fallen. 2v4 again. Bance with the double 2v2. Time's ticking. 13 seconds. If you're E6, you've got to make the play. But Bance has just run all the way around in a giant circle. And that's the round. He deserves the last kill. Is he going to get it? No. Doesn't matter. Joe does.
And that's the power of the setup from Denial. Like, it looked like for a moment, as soon as Rated falls well, it's like, oh, man, disadvantage, this isn't good. But if you take a look at the clock, there was 23 seconds on it. E6 is forced. They're going to have to go very, very quickly, and someone's going to be able to make that big play. So Joe gets the best play, but, of course, his teammate was there earlier to pick up 2 himself, and it's just a solid job by the SOG duo coming in from Denial. And that little smirk says it all.
It's been a while since you've seen these guys really smiling. I feel like.
Nothing to lose? Well,
sure.
A little bit to gain, but maybe not much to lose.
You're not wrong. Well, round 7. That's Denial with a massive advantage.
Oh, that's the whole team.
Man, they might be dead relatively soon. This is a 3v3, 3v1. Rated last alive. It was a theoretical 1v3. Could make it a 1v2. No, he can't. Jet Li already behind him.
There was a picture on the subreddit post today, like its own post of me when I see in Search and Destroy 4 players standing at me. It's temp, like, should be on camera for that, but that's that exact moment. Whoever that was for Denial, yeah, Bance challenges out. Oh, the entire team of E6 is here. And granted, Denial actually did a halfway decent job of dealing with it, but it's just one of those things, overwhelming pressure. Some rounds just go like that.
Sure do. Long way back into this search for E6. Round by round. From 5-1 down, they of course win the last round, so 5-2. Still 4 more to win in a row. It's going to be so hard given current form for Denalen. Well, everyone from E6 trying to go for the Wolfpack mentality, and that's just not good. Brack already finds the first, but bear in mind, he's in a 1v5 at that side of the map.
He's surrounded.
Bum is down on the other side, and he actually found himself a pick. Credit to him. 3v4. And even though the bomb is planted at B, Alex has gone for the biggest flank, and I love it.
This is insane. You would never expect Alex to be here. And granted, the timing isn't quite perfect for him, but he's a floater, and now he's 6. This is just problematic. You're not dealing with the normal setup. It is a 3 versus 3. Alex does get picked from up top, and now 18 seconds. Someone has to hot bomb. You have to watch the mid-alley. Vance is here, and they're both in the hallways. You can only look so many directions. Jet Li trying to fend him off, but the double challenge is in. Joe is through. The game complete. Denial 2-0.
Really well played towards the end, and Joe putting on some dance moves at the end of that one. And for E6, you have to question, what was that?
Sloppy 2 games.
If game 1 started off well, it ended horribly, and well, game 2 didn't even really start off well, that's for sure. Denal in control from the very, very beginning. Maybe Chance, you summed it up perfectly. Nothing to lose mentality. How beneficial that can be. Denal 2-0 up. We'll be back after this.
The Call of Duty World League is brought to you by Mountain Dew Amp Game Fuel, the official beverage of the CWL. Scuff Gaming, the official controller of the CWL, and TCL, America's fastest growing TV brand.
What's up, guys? Study here with your play breakdown presented by TCL. All right, guys, we're going to have Enigma6 versus 100 Thieves, currently up 5-3 in the S&D, down 0-1 in the series. Enigma6 is going to decide to 5-man hit this A bomb site. At the same time, 100 Thieves are going to 4-man push through middle. Slasher is going to be the only one playing this bomb site at A by himself. GodRx is immediately going to go for the bomb plan. Frosty plays with the information of all of them hitting their base. Once they get this kill on GodRx, they're going to plant this bomb and push out Slasher since he's by himself. They're going to push up, get map positioning, take out Slasher in the back by a 2v1 challenge. Once they do that, they realize that all the players are going to be in their base. Jet Li gets taken out by Enable. At the same time, Kismet gets a nade on Kenny. General's going to die, but the entire time, keep in mind, Frosty was pushing through this small room to hit that late flank to catch him off guard. Enable's going to take on General. Kismet's going to be able to pick up one kill and then die. So now it's a 2v1 situation for Frosty with 20 seconds left on the clock. They have absolutely no idea where Frosty is. All he has to do is play this clock here. He's going to spot Octane, not put down any first shots. He's going to take down Octane. Now it's a time-based game. Unfortunately, Priesthood gets the kill, but just not enough time to defuse the bomb. Beautiful play out of Enigma6. That has been your play breakdown presented by TCL, America's fastest growing TV brain.
Beautiful play from E6. Unfortunately, we've not seen them in this series. 2-0 down. Denial cruised through game 2, search and destroy. Now we head over to game 3, control, where, if I'm honest, it could be a simple 3-0. This could be over.
Well, if I'm in the E6 camp, I'm thinking one thing and one thing only.
Well,
we're having game 5 issues, right? And that comes down to the clutch, how we deal with the pressure. What requires more clutch than being down 2-0? So not only do you have to win a game 5, you also have to reverse sweep.
Okay.
You make things difficult at yourself in the Pro League, so they're easy.
You know what? I'll go one step further. You know what
Take
you do?
me there, Ben.
You Seaside Control.
Yes.
You go 2-0 down in Seaside Control. Then to win the whole series.
Strats. See, this is why we need to have listen-ins so we hear these types of strats.
Of course, because we know it happens.
This is obvious what's happening.
Obviously, yeah. There's no doubt in my mind that that was the exact conversation that you saw General and Kismet having. But loading into Seaside Control, it can be tough. Very tough, sometimes at least.
And as a disclaimer, because I know there's some weird people out there, we are being 100% sarcastic.
Oh, yeah. Probably one.
Just in case there's any confusion, that is not at all what's happening.
Extremely sarcastic.
Yes.
As it's going to be E6 defending.
A lot of people going to A.
Off the rip. Oh, they've read the play from Denial correctly. There's going to be a 1v1 at B, which should be winning anytime soon. There it is. Good job there to Paradox. As B honestly could actually put a little bit of progression here. If Denial fly off spawn, there's already a little bit in. You win the gunfights, and well, E6 could be in trouble already off the rip.
Well, no trouble in Paradise yet, but potentially
Paradise.
on the way.
E6 is definitely not in Paradise.
Have you seen this map? It's beautiful. You look off just the edge.
Where is it?
I think in America. No.
That?
Those look like American kayaks.
That looks like Italy.
Well, have you ever been to Italy?
Yes.
Okay, well, I'll tell you later. E6 bounced back on the defensive end. It's been a kill trade that effectively flipped back and forth a handful of times. Of course, 2 ticks are through, at least towards the B side.
Side note, can I explain why I think it's Italy?
Sure.
Well, barrels, vineyard. Essentially, it's wine. There's an Italian restaurant writing over here. I think it says Ristorante.
It's in Spain, actually.
Is it Spain?
Yeah, it's Spain.
Damn, I was so close. They're similar. Oh wait, so Heretics have a huge advantage. That just seems greatly unfair.
Well, the bright side, they're not in this series.
Yeah, but
You just mean in general?
just in general, because they have Hacienda and now they have Seaside too.
I think it's Seaside. I could have sworn I saw Spanish. Either way, I've seen
Are you sure
E6.
it's not Italian? I'm googling it.
I do not. España de...
I'm googling it.
You can Google whatever you want. I'm trying to focus on the game, Ben. You got bodies in A. You got bodies in B, but for the side of E6, the defensive pressure is not going to be there, so Kismet's going for the rat back. You already got a tick through on point. General, well, he's got checkers. His teammates are swarming. The move is getting made. Kismet is returned. He's here. They're flying in, trying to wipe him out. They got 4 life advantage, and you tack on a couple more. The pressure has been staved off. You do not have the successful A push, and, well, Denial, they got one option. It's flying point. You got to get to B. You got to get control of the E6. Obviously, they got the advantage. They got a 12v5. The round is all but over, Ben. What do you have for me?
Yeah, you're right.
Spain, yeah.
Spain.
There's never a doubt in my mind.
I was close. very close. But despite the progression into both A and B, it will be Denial losing round number 1. Is this maybe now the start of a turn in momentum in the series? E6 go up after the first round. It'll be now their turn to try and attack, and felt like Denial did a lot of things right there, Chance. You know, the pressure over towards A, pressure back over towards B, a couple of ticks, just not able to close out either zone.
It was a good opening break to where you have at least a small advantage and you get the 2 ticks and you're feeling good. But once you get wiped, you kind of have like one good crack to get at least some semblance of control back over to the point, and they don't succeed in that. So they're thinking, well, it's going to be just so tough to break through to 1 point. Let's just go and try A. And then E6, they took their time. Didn't take any, like we talked about the sloppy plays in the hard point, the S&D, did not exist on the retake towards the A site. Yeah. It was more perfect with Kismet wrapping back from the B point. They executed very well.
Definitely significantly cleaner as E6 maybe going for a bit of a bait play here at B. You see Frosty and Kismet slow to start, trying to force Denial players to rotate. Now 3 players are going to hit through mid. I don't think Denial really bit onto the bait, but 1 player will already fall, so early on, an advantage E6 here.
Yeah, but E6 hasn't massively stacked the point. They've been roaming in and out of hill, so they've only gotten 1 tick through. General Confines 2, but they gave up mid for a moment. GodRX comes and takes it back, and now, well, it's rated in a player that's in these mid steps, and, well, Vance, he's just going to leave it. So you got 2 ticks through, and it's looking like there's going to be a third. You got Frosty. He is just right above a player in Vance. Walt Vance takes the free kill, but E6 takes the point. Kismet, obviously, 25 off of some streaks. He'll be very happy to get him, and frankly, he almost has the War Machine as well.
Keep our eyes on him. As you said, just 1 more kill will do. Of course, Control has been a game mode E6 have felt comfortable in for the most part of the year. It's been a mode you've seen them have some good success in. So it's going to be tough for Denial to close this out 3-0. And then, of course, you still have to go to another hard point. We shall see. Kismet finds 1. There's the EKA needed. Good challenge. Very quick challenge there from General. And now the pressure already coming in towards B. You already have a Lightning. There's the Hellstorm. This is going to be hard. Very hard now for Denial to break back in.
I mean, you can call it in if you want. You can spawn kill if you want. They had almost all their bases covered. 1 little lane opens up because General falls. And, well, Jet Li falls in the hill as well. So maybe not a perfect round coming in. E6, well, still in a decent spot, but maybe not quite as good as it could have been.
Yeah, tick into A, minute 32 streaks, but I think you're absolutely right there. You get a quick wave, streak them, put the pressure.
Yeah, just sit in the hill and streak them, yeah.
Yeah, really apply that pressure. But Frosty's shooting like that. Hey, you just do the old-fashioned way, right? Just with your gun. Pressure again, coming into the zone. Denial off spawn, still no streak. That's simply because, unfortunately for Kismet, he was dead at the time. So not able to invest it. Frosty around the outside, there's 1. Can he at least shut down 2 before dying? His death was inevitable, but there's General with 1. Did find his teammate there. No more for him. They get the 2nd tick, though, so every time they've attacked A, they've managed to at least put another point of progression in.
Well, yeah, 16 v 10. I think at this point, they just need to make sure they play for kills a little bit heavy. You don't have to burn specialists. You don't have to burn streaks. You just wait for your teammates who are trying to push their way through the old hill, through the B site / the first hard point, but General's gonna fall, so now only a 15 v 10. Players in the back, Rated takes him down, 14 v 10. A player flying in the hill by himself solo, that's Jet Li, but he goes and finds 2. So they maintain that 5 live lead, and they still got plenty of time on the clock.
2 very big kills from the get because his teammates had both just died, so it was a little bit of a hero solo play. And now to your point, this just becomes a game of TDM. Lead is still vast and in your favor. You still don't have to panic just yet. No need to call in specialists or streaks. Now down to their final 4 lives. Now that 3rd and final tick is coming through. It's a 3v8, 27 seconds. The only thing against E6 here is the time. Last player alive. Good luck, have fun, Vance. Frosty deals with him, 2-0 E6.
That was a great round. Like the only criticism you could say, like maybe it could have been a little bit better, but it was effectively dominating towards the end. You look at the specialist progression, E6 is killing it in that department. They also have 2 streaks to back them up, so.
Said that before, though.
Mirror. They won the specialist progression. They had a very small lead in the hard point, but a noticeable one. And then everything spiraled out of control and they lost. But now they have streaks.
Yeah.
So it's a twofer.
Streaks are pretty big deal in Control.
Solid on
in
C-side.
general.
Especially when you're on the defensive end, because if you kill them, well, then you call in the streaks and you kill them again, and there's nothing you can really do.
Getting out for Frosty. Already 2 kills come through, and well, Kismet called in the lightning. Very quick there. He called in the. No, it was
no, I'm saying I would call in the Hellstorm now. Yeah, he called in lightning first, but they got 4 down right at the same time.
I'm surprised he even called the lightning in right there. You would have normally waited for the opening. I mean, yeah, it gives you, good pressure and good map control, but I guess he must have already been in it after his teammates got the first 2 kills, because at that point, you're pretty much A-okay. Then you use the streak to spawn trap, but Frosty stayed back there to another 1. Kismet with 2. Denial. They've been outplayed here in Seaside. Not much more you can say.
I mean, we talked about it before of Denial's hand is kind of forced once you get 0 control over towards B. By the way, here's the Hellstorm to kill him out of spawn. Finds a teammate plus Vance, and maybe the timing a little bit off, but the control's still absolutely there. Denial's hand got forced with no control towards B. You got to make a play. And what was it, Jet Li that was sitting in his spawn waiting for them to cross, and it was just set up and executed perfectly. E6 has been 2 steps ahead this entire map.
Tempest is out. Well, you swing enough, you'll eventually hit it. That is the case, and that's a triple. They just all chain. There's
okay.
Another connected as well. 25-11. All right, Denial, no 3-0s for you. E6 will take the 3-0, though, here in Game 3. There's not a chance in hell Denial can win this map. And credit to them, because you go 2-0 down and you're thinking, now it's a lot of sloppy play. But they're able to at least keep some momentum in the series. But it's just, again, it's almost frustrating to watch, right? Because you see how flawless they can play, and then you see all the silly mistakes that sometimes they do make, and you just kind of have to ask yourselves, imagine how good they would be without those small mistakes.
I mean, true.
I know you can say that with a lot of teams,
right,
obviously, but still, the mistakes they make just seem to be so much more noticeable than maybe some of the other teams.
Well, yeah, and I will say that, okay, maybe that's a positive thing. Maybe that's a positive thing that you're making like egregious mistakes, but that's something you go back and watch over, and you're not getting out-rotated. Like, they were making cool plays on the hard point of double pushing for old time. You're getting the scrap while potentially winning the rotation. They're doing a lot of little things good, and then it's the big things of like pairing a Vision Pulse with a Graph Slam, not using a Tempest when you're in vents and getting eviscerated on your way out. If those are the things you're trying to fix, is the specialist usage, and everything else is great, like those things eventually come together, like in the map 3, where the specialist usage comes in at the same time, and the score streaks obviously helped, and you're picking up a 3-piece with the Tempest on the chains, and everything spirals out of control. So you can be optimistic.
You can, in a strange way. There's definitely that switch you can do with that mentality, but as we said, E6 definitely not out of this one just yet. Game 4, we go back over towards Hardpoint, where, again, that first rotation for E6 always seems so good. They fight tooth and nail. Often they have the lead. It's the second rotation. Really, it's the specialists which are the key. So we'll keep our eyes closely on how those specialists are used by E6. Hopefully better than in Game 1. And if they do force a Game 5 chance, maybe you were right.
We will get some sort of storyline. Either Denial gets the 3-1, or maybe we can see what happens in the Game 5. But E6, we're obviously looking at better specialists and then a good second rotation. Or like once the first set is done, good rotations in thereafter. And then of course for Denial, I think we want another really good game out of Rated. Like, he played incredibly well the first game the entire time.
Yes, he did.
Yes, Brack had a moment where he just went on like a 12 spree. He's trying to, play for whatever it is.
Every map.
Yeah, it's not, it's par for the course. Yeah. So we have more that we're looking for. Denial of individual players picking up their performances a little. We got it in map 1. We're looking for it again in map 4.
Good luck, Hardpoint. Loading up. Now with the 2-1 advantage.
In Japan.
Thank you. We're going to be full of geographical wisdom.
I mean, we've been doing this for months now.
Yeah, well, you have.
Right.
I'm just glad I finally remember where Seaside was.
I'm upset I forgot. Seaside's always the one I forget, because it looks like Arsenal to me, because like the orange and the yellow, and Arsenal's in America.
That's why you said the U.S.
Oh.
Well, good start so far for Denial. Already inside the hill, a flank from Jet Li, who, credit to him for the most part of this series, has been very, very good. Still, however, they find themselves 2-1 down. Kills still going for Denial. And Jet Li doesn't want to push too far just yet without his teammates, because he's holding the spawns for the new hill. Bear that in mind as the hill is contested. Frosty up top, back down low. Should be able to find two with the assistance of God RX. And honestly, everyone from Denial Falls a beautiful hull. But keep your eye on the minimap, though. You can see the rotation already coming through for Alex.
Yeah, E6 did pour quite a bit of pressure on the hill. Now they got to fight for the rotation. Kismet's being annoying on one side of the map. He gets taken care of. And, well, Denial actually got towards the hill and then never pushed really back to try to get control towards the spawns. So E6 has a little bit of wiggle room to try to make some plays, and Jet Li in general are here. And it looks like Alex, yeah, he's just going to be that lone man. So Denial maybe a wasted opportunity unless Alex can make the most of it. Kills one, Bance is there for the second, and Joe, even on the flip side of the map, finds one over. That's a nice little stun spot as well, but talk about not a passive setup, but not a full force one, and, well, it pays dividends.
Now, at least, however, E6 have just taken control. You expect that to not last very long. As once again, Denial break through. Bear in mind, Alex starting to work towards something. 300 away from his streaks. 26 seconds left. E6 are going to go for it. So a chance here, maybe for Alex to get the streaks, but not going to be the case. Frosty finds the pick. He actually finds himself too. Joe, though, with the trade. Denial still with the hill time. Now you look at the rotation. And the problem for E6 is you've lost the scrap. You cannot afford to lose those gunfights on rotation. You don't. But Bance is still there, looking to try and sniff out an opportunity.
They're just going to hunt him down as well. He at least takes one with him, but his teammates' support were not quite there yet. So Denial actually do have a bit of a trap coming in, and Brack's the big man because he's solo for the moment. His team's on the other side. He finds one. Frosty's got to move, and, well, it comes down to a near 1 versus 1, and Brack honestly just slowing this down means his teammates can get there, and you see the kill feed. It was Bance that was the backup coming out on top. Brack that stun, oh so helpful.
Yep, buying his teammates time just to assist. As what should have been a relatively tough rotation turned out to actually be very impressive from Denial. Yes, E6 is in the hill, but they've had to work tooth and nail for it. The current score, 73-30, 25 seconds left in the hill. As Bance peaks and showers, waiting patiently again. Denial, more than happy to be slow on the brakes, but you've got to make sure you find the kills in the hill.
Well, a lot of kills coming their way. I think finally there's only one man. It was Kismet that gets taken down for E6, and a very scrappy hill, but Denial at least gets the scrap. And now you gotta see what their approach is to break through, because E6, they have a nice little spread across the map, waiting for the push out from the old hill. Denial are checking every corner to try to force their way through. You see the kill feed. Denial, the wolf pack came through, hunting them all down. E6 spawning wrong side of the map, and now the players in the hill, well, you're taking a 2v5 essentially. They get dropped, and E6 just got broken in the drop of a dime.
That was too quick. That was way, way too quick. Credit to Denial, of course, but you can't get broken that fast. Alex is going to have to wait for the stim. Should be okay. Now the contest comes through. E6 basically saying anything you can do, we can do better. Denial from the back door, E6 from the front door. Still 20 seconds. There's no streaks available for anyone for the first hill. So it looks as if E6 will be able to do at least a little bit of damage limitation. Put themselves about 25 points behind. We go into rotation number 2 here on Gridlock. But still, a lot of work to be done.
And God RX is doing a lot of that work himself right now. He's already killed 2 on this stretch. He's trying to stay alive because you see Denial, how important that spot is to take care of. They get him, but now Frosty's another thorn in your side. Jet Li's got the cutoffs. You have 3 players for Denial that are stuck from even beginning to get towards this hill, and that's why Joe's going on the flank, but you can already see arrows turning to look for him. General's got an eye on it. Meanwhile, E6 just sitting inside the hill. They're good. They're clear. 25 seconds their way. There's been no pressure towards it. Joe gets found on the flank. Finally, Bance can get near the hill. And you think about the grab slam, or at least I certainly am, but he's not pulling the trigger yet. They're just trying to do it with guns, and it does not work in the slightest.
And that's a beautiful hold. It really is. 30 seconds of free time. They get finally pushed, and it looks like they're only going to have to defend mid once, maybe twice, if Bance wants to go for a last push, which he doesn't. So now it's about the rotation. You have to lock down the back of the map, and while they have the spawns, they still have the kills. E6 have just blown the second rotation wide open.
Hey, this is, well, that's exactly what you wanted there, Ben, right? The first set, normally they're good. The next set, it gets rough, but so far, damn near perfect. Now you got Kismet again. There's so many moments, it seems like, this game where someone for E6 is just being annoying.
Yep.
They're just behind you. They just slow you down just enough. And Kismet off spawn, he's going to be right back in the action by the time Denial even gets near the hill. So you got Bance thinking about the grab slam. Who shuts him down? Kismet off respawn, right in the action again.
Again, another 30 seconds off the initial, which is in favor. Jet Li.
Okay, well, almost.
He got one, did kill his teammate, and Denial have broken through, but Kismet's there for the double. 20 seconds of scrap. E6 will take it. So far, so good. It's Denial struggling. And now it comes down to the rotation towards tree. Denial ready and waiting.
Yeah, Denial's at the point where they don't need a perfect hold, but they need a solid one. And, well, they have a couple specialists if they want to use them at their disposal. You got the Grab Slam. You're thinking about it. You use it to at least pick up one. Player in towels is going to be trapped in between 3 players. They clear him out. So the hill opens up. You burn a grab, but you have full control. Now can you hold on to it? How can E6 break through? Jet Li, he's dancing back and forth to Dora, waiting for his teammates. They got 4 from this side. They got a player on the other, but there's a Brack waiting for him. He finds 2. Rated pops the Tempest. And if you're E6, how do you get through? Kismet, he's in the back. He's trying to be a distraction, but there's no one else here yet.
Oh, and that's unfortunate for Rated because he trusted his teammates there to pick up Kismet. They knew he was there, but Rated did not want to give up the front with the Tempest. And sadly for them, it doesn't go their way. Got our Rex now. Looking to try and find the pick. There's been a big investment because Frosty uses Vision Pulse here. That's going to be fully used. That was primarily just to break through and secure the new spawns, which, credit to E6, they have done. So you could say maybe marginally some better specialists being used by them.
And again, just like the annoyance factor. It's you pop the Tempest in the hill for Rated, you know Kismet's behind you, and they just couldn't find him in time. You shut the man with the Tempest down, and it's such a big kill to get. Now you got Frosty trying to dance in the back. He gets shut down. Denial, they break through this instantly last time. They're getting slowed down just a little bit more. You see Jet Li kind of flanking the flank, and Kismet's still in the back. So E6, you talk about a response to pressure, an adjustment being made the later the game goes on. Much better than the last time in the round. They've been able to get most of this first 23 seconds. Finally, Denial gets clearance towards the back, but obviously vastly different than the first time around.
Yeah, now you have Kismet pulling the trigger on the War Machine as well. He's just going to keep spamming it out. He will eventually find one. Or sorry, Alex will eventually find one. It was God Rex that fell. Now he earns himself some streaks as well, so good job from Bracken. This is what you expect from him, to go on one of those runs. Now the big question, how can you use those streaks to bring yourself back into the game?
I mean, the options there, 13 seconds down, so they're down by, what, 63 seconds. It's going to be a little bit less than that. You talk about a turnaround you need, it's to go to the first. The Hellstorm doesn't find much, but you do get 3 bodies in the next hill. And if things get bad, you still got the Lightning. And burning it on this hill is not a bad thing to do at all because they're tougher to use on the next ones.
And well, think about it this way. E6 got 60 seconds, essentially, on P1 in the last rotation. They could be in a good position if they're able to find the kills to maybe respond with a 60 of their own, but everyone falls. Lightning is going to be invested now by Brack. Should find Frosty at least. No one else is home. Or no, God RX drops as well. So a big chance for Denial to come back into this one.
E6, though, still being annoying. They at least are able to shave a couple seconds off the next hill, and, well, Frosty gets dropped again.
Now you have Pulse as well for rotation. This is huge.
And Kismet's got the War Machine on the flip side. It's a 1-for-1, so it's going to be tough, honestly, for either team, because E6, they got a breakthrough for the spawns, and Dial, they got to hold on to them, because 3 players died, and look where they're going to spawn now. They just try to fight for those 15 seconds. They get nothing. Joel's by himself, and he pops the Vision, and they might be able to hunt him down. Kismet's going to fall, but he's surrounded. Vision Pulse or not, it's not easy to gunfights to win. He does get traded. He falls in the back. Bance is here. And Denial may be successful. Honestly, it's tough. You're going to have to be perfect. You're down by a ton, but you at least get to the next hill.
God RX playing for streaks. He's not going to be able to do so. 238, 178. Denial can't win it here, so they would still need to rotate anyway, but E6 doing a good job of just putting the pressure on. Wanting to really make Denial work for every second. Try and make this comeback. As you mentioned, Kismet does have the War Machine. Could use it at any time. Nades will be thrown out. And that's the chance now for E6 to break through and potentially send us to the first Game 5 of the day. 5 seconds, all they need. War is out. Contest won't last long. E6 much, much better in Game 4.
The only way to reverse sweep, Ben,
I told you,
is if you go 2-0 down in Denial. The smirks they had in Game 2, non-existent heading into the Game 5. I think Map 1 was a story of specialist. I think Map 4 was a story of annoyance. E6 definitely did better.
A much better display from them, and that's why they sent it to Game 5. And Chance, you wanted Game 5. You said you fancy E6 in Game 5. Well, we'll find out after this if you are, in fact, the Prophet. First game of the day, Game 5, Denial E6. Chats, we were just talking about it earlier on this week. We haven't had many Game 5s, or last week it was, and all of a sudden a flurry of them come our way. Another one here.
Yeah, 3 in a row.
Yeah, 3 in a row. No, is it not 4 in a row?
Ooh, I know this is at least number 3 in a row, and if you go back farther than that, maybe.
Maybe. Anyway,
I wouldn't be surprised.
All that matters is we're going to a Game 5. Now, whenever we get to this point, it's become so normal for us that you've started actually looking up, oh, well, how are these teams actually doing in Game 5? Now, we'll start with the now. Is it looking good for them in Game 5s or maybe not so much?
Okay, so obviously a huge problem of keeping track of it is rosters change all the time, but since this roster is formed, they're 2-1. Which is like fine, it's respectable. Okay. They had like 1 win back in London. They lost to Optic. They beat Envy. Or no. They beat LG. They lost to the Heretics Game 5 in the Pro League, and then they beat Envy in a Game 5.
Okay.
I think that's right.
All
so
right.
they're 2-1, whatever. 2-1. You don't make too much of a read out of that.
No.
Whatever. They're fine.
E6.
Not good.
Okay.
Not good at all. Since this roster's been formed, 1-4.
Ooh.
And they have had quite a few Game 5 losses, and again, and a lot of them happened like this week and last week. It's just been like a ton of them condensed.
I feel like E6, though, throughout the year have often been going to Game 5. So was it good before the roster? Is that a core problem? How's it looking?
Yeah, it's a bit of a core problem. Like if you dig deeper, as soon as they picked Chino up, better in Game 5s for a moment. It was better at Game 5s for a moment, and then they went to Cross Division, and then they like lost 2 Game 5s and lost 2 Game 4s and got bullied out and made another roster change. But on the year, E6, it's not a great record at all. And then recently, again, 1-4. And this is a team that at London was 4-1 in Search and Destroy. So they were a very, at least minimal solid. Obviously, their placing wasn't great. Maybe they didn't play all the top competition.
Sure.
But at the very least, they're a solid Search and Destroy team. And then you flip it on its head for the Game 5s.
Let's see if they can turn their tides before Anaheim. Can they somehow start stringing together some Game 5 wins? Because to the point you made, if maybe some of those Game 5s had gone different, you wouldn't be in the situation you're in now, where the loser of this will take last place in the division. You will be 8th if you lose this. Not a spot either of these two teams really would have thought they would have been in. Nor would many really have expected them to be in. It's where they find themselves. Arsenal, the map for the Game 5, and Vance has a sniper rifle out already, looking over towards B. Many's going to be home. Frosty, more than happy to try and counter-snipe. But it seems like the initial push chance is coming over towards A.
Yeah, it was just an initial play from picks from both teams. Denial making moves. Got our X, though. He can feel it. He knows the pressure's here. That's why he's playing passive, and that's why he's got his teammates right behind him. Vance is trying to do the dance of whether or not he wants to avoid killing his teammates, kill the enemy. Kismet, though, he draws that first blood. Frost is locking down the left, but nobody's peeking for the moment. And that means his teammates know they only have to focus really on the right side of the pillars. Now Vance is coming here. Frosty's been waiting for it, but Vance wins the gunfight. Doesn't make a difference. No, it does not, because the pick came in too late, and Denial got picked apart 1 by 1. In general, using his words.
That does help.
There was like a look to it that like caught my eye, but I can't lip read, so who knows?
He was being decisive.
Decisive in his decision.
Yes, and his communication. That's what it looked like to me. That's what we're going with. E6 1-0 up. As you see them just going over their little pre-round strategies. B hit off the rip, most likely. In fact, it's going to be all 5 players flying over there. And Frosty might actually find a pick quickly if that player pushes up. The timing on that. But he gets the information nevertheless, and they say, hey, 1's here, fly forward, let's try and get this pick.
And they don't even have time to run. Both those players had to stay on bomb. That is a hell of a kill feed.
Yeah, keep track of that, good luck.
It is a 2v2. I'll break it down as soon as the round ends. But of course, they know Vance is in the back because Vance did find a pick here. Frosty's going to look for it, but you can see the decision's already been called. Rotate over towards A. And I have to imagine Denial not going to be very far behind it. Joe's actually going to beat him here.
Honestly, they could just actually double bluff, hit mid-map, and go straight back to B if they wanted to. Depends if mid-window's broken. If it was, that was definitely an option. Instead, no, they want to just push all the way through. Vance has spotted them, though. I heard the call out myself.
Yeah, he knows at least 1 cross, and Joe's wrapping back, so maybe they know 2. He goes for the quick scope, and he does not connect. Of course, Joe, you never know where he is on the map. He's trying to cut him up. I don't think either player spotted him. The timing as good as it could be. 1v1, 15 seconds. Do you plant? Do you hunt him down? And when you do that, is Joe going to punish you? Well, he sees the guy on bomb, got a Rex. He stopped the plant too. He stopped it. He felt the pressure, but the stun is here. Joe trying to stay alive. It's a sliding gunfight, and Joe comes out on top. The 1v2 clutch. Easy for Joe Pennington.
I feel like you hit the nail on the head there, Chance. Whenever you're in like a 2v2 and Joe's alive, if you kill the other teammate, you're like, all right, now where the hell is Joe? He could be anywhere. You just never know what to expect. Admittedly, he gets a little bit of good timing there on that rotation, but he makes the best possible situation. Honestly, GodRx should have stuck that plant. He sticks that plant, that's a different round, because he then has full control. Him stopping and Joe realizing that he stopped makes it a fight which Joe should win every time.
Yeah, I mean, at the same time, he did have a stun, and he did stun him and had the gunfight, but yeah, it's a nice little play from L. Pennington, and Walt Frosty picks up a kill, and everyone else has to leave.
Oh, but it
He has to leave. Definitely has to leave.
Oh, he's going to stay.
Far away, though. Stay out of the line of sight, at the very least.
Can you time it properly? That's the question. Here comes Matt. Jet Li sees it. Jet Li has a stun as well. Worried a little maybe about close right, but no shots fired. Frosty's still here. Finding first blood earlier. Can he connect with a second? Still 5v4. Advantage to E6 after the first blood. Just a little left. That could have been a collat. Not
Stop
sure
peeking!
Toying with him. Ferry didn't hit him, so I guess you can keep peeking if you want. One-man advantage to E6, and Kismet's already on the bomb. Trusting his teammates heavily here to cover him. First shot comes through. General with the pick, and bomb defused.
And the Bragg shot to fly over too late. So Alex is peeking there to wait for when they push up for the pressure towards elevator, so you know if they're going to be on bomb in the next couple seconds. So you're playing for information. It just stresses me out because that was so many shots that Frosty like nearly got a collateral at one point, is barely missing. So
considering his first shot too.
Yeah, it is.
Rip Vance, but tough.
But like in my mind, if that's the way you're playing that, of like hoping the sniper doesn't hit shot, and granted they got first blooded, so it's a tough spot. Who was it we saw the other day that made the adjustment and just flew through the site? Like they get the bomb down, but then they just like pressure out the sniper. Then you just go hunt him down and kill him. We saw somebody do it, whoever it was. Maybe it was an elevate in the back of my mind.
That sounds right.
If you're having a strat where you're just like obligating yourself to just shoulder peek endlessly on the snipers, and then even then the other team is double ICRs. I mean, granted, again, they got first blood. It's a tough spot, but
never easy, that's for sure. But E6 do have the lead here in the game 5. Not by much. Just one round, 2-1. Frosty looking to see if he can find an opening. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, Vance has maybe sniffed out a couple of players. It was GodRx who had bomb that's fallen. First blood denial. Frosty can't find the pick of his own, though. Bomb's been retrieved. But E6 almost in an identical situation now to what Denial were in their last attacking round.
We'll see how they play it. Obviously, you're hoping that Frosty can maybe get a pick, but Alex, he's been switching up the spots he picks from. The shoulders have been consistent. He peeks for a moment, but Frosty can't connect. Alex has been in the matrix.
Oh my gosh, Frosty has hit the hard shots, missed the easy shots so far, as can be the way with the snipers. He's going to have one other chance maybe on Vance, because Vance has rotated already. General's dropped. It's a 4v2 now, 14 seconds. Round all but over, barring an absolute miracle. There's a slow peeking. Well, that's just unfortunate. Frosty says, screw this nonsense. Let me just fly and see if I can get a pick. Can't. Then I'll tie things up 2-2.
We'll see if teams, honestly, it's just, I mean, similar situations. You keep going to the same bomb site. You keep hoping for picks, and granted the hit markers are unfortunate, but hasn't been much success. And again, I think we've seen a handful of different teams pull some creative stuff out of the bag, and I'd like for either team sort of show that off a little bit. Instead of relying purely on the sniper, go and counter the other one. If you know Vance is going to be in the back,
fly,
run him over. Force him to hit the incredibly difficult shots.
And if he does, fair play.
Tip your hat.
Frosty, another hit marker coming for him. They know the pressure is coming over towards A, or at least they should. GodRx with a beautiful angle on wide outer, so Vance falls. He was, of course, the sniper player, but bombed down. One-man advantage for the retake. Frosty's still sniffing mid-map. He knows something isn't right. Well, that's why. Teammate helps. Now it comes down to the flank, cleaned out. 1v4, rated on his lonesome. 400 away for streaks. He's not going to be thinking about that. And the back of his mind. Bomb is being defused, though, so now actually he may just play for a simple pick. If he peeks, though, Frosty should be able to find the pick. In fact, well, he must have been thinking heavily about those streaks.
I mean, it's also just
He's dead anyway,
it's a
right?
hopeless situation, I guess. Either jump off the map and maybe they get the timing, but it's a tough spot. And I'm assuming this has been, 5 defensive rounds in a row of just teams either site. I know it's at least 3 in a row of just you try to go to a site and there's just been no success. And granted, the first bloods have been a huge factor in all of these rounds. Obviously, E6 picks it up, but just something else. You just need something else.
Common angle from GodRx, but still a great one for him to find the pick.
And I think Frosty showed off the sniper towards lobby, so Bans was more concerned about that than the back steps, and he would have adjusted in a couple seconds for Frosty to go for the wrap, but
here we go. Just
the second player. Alex, dude, I'm telling you, this game.
He's living dangerously.
His hearing is going to be shot. He's not going to be deaf. Bullets whizzing past his ears.
He is still living, though. Hasn't really been caught off too much by the sniper rifle, and he's on the B site. A couple of peeks. What do they see? Kismet over in vent. You see him crawling through. It's his turn now to peek. No one there. Is it going to force the hand? I don't know, because Kismet obviously called out. I don't see anything yet when he was over towards vent. Joe is there. Frosty needs to hit one of these shots. Open up the A site.
When he hits it, he needs to make sure not a hit marker because it's been unfortunate for him so far, but Frosty's relegated to watching the flank. He's got some help, and the bomb is going to get planted. It is successful, and the player's able to get out. So this is the first time a first blood hasn't come in before bomb plant. Denial going for the retake, pretty much all from the same side.
Kobe doesn't connect. But kills are coming through. 3v3, 27 seconds on the clock. Frosty still struggling with the sniper rifle. Things not going his way, but Bance has a sniper of his own. There's a player outer. That's how you snipe. GodRx falls. Frosty, your turn. 1. Can you find the second? Go for a miracle round. No, you can't. Denial will defuse. 3-3.
We had this conversation, Ben. We had it about Frosty specifically.
I'm so glad you brought this up because I was about to. You specifically said he's a player that you're okay with. I said I'm not okay with it.
I will put it away.
There comes a point. There comes a point where it just isn't working for you.
And even in that situation, you're up top window. If you got an ICR, it's still not a guarantee, but you are much more confident than just the player's able to get map pressure. Because just a couple shots, you kept slating players on different angles. They slide up, a little bit of map control. Next player slides, a little bit more map control, and it's just shot after shot missed. And if you tag up that player with an ICR or Maddox or whatever, then your teammates can go and challenge, and it's just different. And he puts it away. He puts it away.
The interesting thing was the last time we had that conversation, it was this map as well. So maybe it's just him.
He started World Star, people. Right?
Him not feeling overly confident, but to your point, puts the sniper away. Not like he was performing necessarily terribly, but 3 and 4 missing a lot of simple shots that by his standards, we expect to see him hit. Jet Li, first blood.
Oh, they spotted him as well. Oh, especially they know now you go for the slide in and the beat down is going to connect. Joe tried to make the play, but Jet Li, he's going for the ace if he can get it. Stuns the player out. And Denial, they are just trapped up. Brack, wrong gun for the fight. Jet Li going for the next. It takes Kismet to shut him down. They can talk about it after, but Kismet, well, you can tell, wants that momentum now.
Kismet fist bumps everyone. It was like, yo, Jet Li, I got you again. Sorry, bro.
That's on me.
Kismet finishes out the round himself, though. Here's a look at Kismet's play. He's just hip firing through the window, really. Just a bit of an accident, but he finds Rated as well as the last man. And might be a little early for that, given your Game 5 record, but we'll let it slide.
I mean, again, if this is some sort of confidence issue, I'm fine with it. You need something to hype yourself up, hype your teammates up, get in the zone, tilt the opposition. If the Game 5s aren't going well, mix things up. And if it includes shooting corpses, by all means.
Well, you mentioned trying to make snipers hit the hard shots. E6 might be living by that now because they have flown over towards the site. They've been successful at planting the bomb. Not this time, though. Sniper rifle player is nullified. Frosty's brought the sniper out. Despite winning the last round, E6, 3v4. A pick here would be massive for E6.
Yeah, no one's back steps, though. It's everyone that's just leaning over. So that's, okay, I was going to say, everyone to the left side, you challenge that out, you're going to die. General meets the whole team. Frosty meets the whole team. Deny with the play call. We get the first blood. Fly and force him to hit the hard shot.
Another defensive round 1
It's quite a few.
I think it's all of them.
Unless the first two flip-flopped.
I don't think they did.
I certainly don't imagine they did.
Very, very tough game of Search so far.
Or what was the Joe 1v2 clutch? What
Was he defusable?
Was the defense?
Oh,
yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
well, it got our
got our
extra planet.
planet.
Okay, so
Yes.
yeah, that means every single round has been defensive then.
yeah.
Who do you think's gonna win this round, Ben?
You know what, Chance? I'm sensing a change-up of our fate.
You're just a homer. You're rooting for the EU boys. That's all it is.
You caught me red-handed. We'll see. Still a couple more rounds to go. CloudRx first line of defense over towards A, and it's Denial's turn to just try and fly forward. Kismet in Vent. He practically lives in Vent on this map, and he's managed to get away, or has he? Yes. Barely, but it's a 4v4. Frosty still with the sniper rifle. I'm just not a fan. And that's just unfortunate timing, really. Nothing he could do there. Denial now sensing an opportunity to grab this game 5 by the scruff of the neck. But Joe, he's caught out 3v3. The bomb can go down, but for E6 now, it's all about the retake.
And you don't have a sniper for the retake. Maybe you can go pick one up, but it's going to be different. So Denial obviously can play it better. And talk about playing it better. Brack is behind them all. That first blood might just win in the round. He challenges for the second because his teammates are there for the trade. 2v1. You got to make the play. Kismet shoots one in the back.
Saw the other.
It's a flank on flank, and he knows where he is.
I was just defused.
Bance, by the way.
I love that play from Bance. I love that play from Bance. He says, I don't think Kismet's the type of player to hop the bum. He's going to try and chase me. That bought him 10 seconds or so. And Bance is stuck with his guts, stuck with his decision. He'll spot Kismet, and that is a superb play from Bance. All of the knowledge of how Kismet plays those situations. He hauls to the back of the map, waits, didn't exactly have the weaponry to take a close quarters fight anyway, sat there with the ICR, trusts his decision, and wins the round.
And then in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, when there's 12, 11 seconds left, you go and just wallbang it, or like bomb site, whatever you want to call that, but you start shooting through the site to get the kill, expecting him to be there. He goes for the hard read.
Yeah.
Doesn't even, like, he just read Kismet like a book. He said, he's going to hunt me down. I'm going to make sure he can't find me. And he, honestly, he could have set his controller down and won that round.
First attacking round win. Pressure now on E6. Will their Game 5 woes continue? Or can they themselves win their first attacking round? Rated's already been tagged up. They know they're there, but it's Alex with the first blood. Kismet finds a double. GodRx with one as well. Big advantage E6. 4 versus 2. Bance looking to try and open things back up for Denial on the retake with the sniper, and that's how you do it. Kismet falls 3 versus 2.
You got 3 players. You can just choose when you want to peek the bomb. But honestly, do you even expect them to hop it? Well, Joe actually gives a little bit of information away. So one player challenges, but everyone else is flipping. They're just reading it. I think they're expecting them to turn to run with a player in a corner. GodRx shoots him in the back. Denial felt the play coming, but GodRx got there first.
As soon as you only see one player at gun, as soon as you don't see anyone else try and trade that out, you instantly know they have to be behind you. So it was a good read, but GodRx, he was quick.
And this is it. It is a Game 5, Round 11. Loser is at the bottom of the division, solidly in 8th place. You talk about the Game 5 woes for one team, E6 trying to turn around. You talk about either team meeting some sort of glimmer of hope, some sort of momentum into Anaheim, and it all comes down to this.
So what do you have? Well, specialists, not much Kismet. I mean, could, maybe, somehow get a war machine. We'll see, but it doesn't matter. It is Denial on the attack, and it is Bance with a sniper rifle. Has Frosty got a sniper of his own? It's number 7. Judging by his positioning, you might have thought he did, but he doesn't. It's ICR in hand. Hasn't trusted it. Double neg at 3 and 6. On the flip side, Bance is 6 and 7. He's been pretty okay with it, and you don't want to peek him again.
Oh, they don't want to peek him again, and they certainly have not. It's just another map spread, E6. Just they're expecting the bomb to get wrapped back and forth. They're playing for information. And you see Denial, just it's not even decisive. E6 has, there's no bait coming in. Denial is just trying to make up their mind, and E6 just solid on the map, just patient as ever.
They're holding the nerve. Bance is still there. He's missed a couple of shots, but the push is going to have to come through because time is of the essence. 30 seconds left. Nade thrown out, and it gets a double from downtown. Bance opens up the map. 5v3. Bomb will go down, and doesn't that just sum up E6's luck to be caught out like that in a round 11? And Brack with the flank should seal the deal. 1, 2, 3 players full, and Denial clutch up Game 5, round 11.
Oh, that is a face that sums up the job of the sniper is to get the pick to open up the round. Benjamin Bance is like, I don't even need it. I got the frag grenade of all time to blow people's minds. Unbelievable. As the great study would say, unbelievable, Ben.
That's a hell of a nade. I'll give him that. It's funny because you often say you pull out the sniper rifle for the pick. Well, he swung and missed a couple of times for sniper and went, nah, screw it. Just launched it, back steps, gets himself a double. And E6 Game 5 woes continue. And now it just seems, at this point, nothing can go their way.
I think, again, that face of God or X sums it up. It's like, what the Game 5's like, what do we do?
To be fair, the way they played defensively in that round 11 was great. They split, they spread, they waited for anything. They waited for everything. They bought so much time. There was about 25 seconds left. And then to get caught by a double nade. Gotta be annoying there. I feel a little bit sorry for the E6 boys, but that actually now means E6 will finish last in this division so far. Of course, still some cross-divisional play to go, but not the record that they would have been expecting. But that's everything from myself and Chance for Game 1. We'll send over to Katie at the desk.
Thank you, Ben. And yeah, not exactly how Enigma6 was hoping to end that, but yeah, that's gotta be so annoying. I mean, great nade from Vance, but you gotta be like,
Kobe. I mean, they just said it. Like, they spread the map. They were playing the perfect setup, and then a nade just flies over the top and hits him with a 2-piece. That sucks.
Well, to that point, actually, I think we're going to bring up our scuff play of the game and take a look at that nade right now.
In terms of just this last round, I actually didn't think Denial was playing this well at all. They were running out of time here on this push. But
I know that was good.
Kobe!
Like, wow, this is gonna be good. Dang, 2-piece.
Dang.
So the face on God RX, he was mind blown.
I mean, yeah, you looked at the stage, they were like, what?
I mean, he was one of the people in the 2-piece. So, is it my fault? Like, did I just cost my team this?
I mean, that's just bad luck, right? I mean,
this is second
good
time.
aim.
This is second time
standing right next to each other.
They
true.
nade.
That is,
and it was Frosty and God RX.
And it was the same exact two Frosty
people.
and God RX. They need to separate all that in such situations.
Come on, man.
maybe they have anxiety issues when they're away
luck.
from each other. I don't know.
It is such bad luck. I mean, they're the only two people playing on that side. If they're not near each other and Denial does make a team push, they're going to get run over.
Yeah.
You rarely see 2-piece nades. It's just one of those things where luck was on Vance's side. It wasn't all luck. He was sniping there. He did know at least one was there. Threw the nade trying to get him. Got 2. That was the lucky part.
Yeah.
46.
On the flip side of that, Denial had they had a great series, right? Like, they looked good in Search and Destroy. That last one they were able to clutch up. First one they absolutely dominated. And in that hard point, you had a great performance out of Rated, out of Brack. Everybody was playing well, so that's exactly what you wanted to see if you're a Denial fan. And, they didn't switch the roles like they talked about, but they did go out and win a hard point, which was the toughest game mode for them. And I think that spells a little bit of improvement, being able to close that out like that as well. It's got to be nice for them.
They did get run over in that control, though.
Yeah, I mean, it's still like
good at it.
They're just not going to control.
They also didn't get to have the best practice in it due to their team situation, moving around, switching organizations, not having a house. It's just not a game mode that they had a lot of time to scrim, and it's coming through in the game.
Well, they had players in Europe and players in North America, and Control is such a kill-dependent game mode that, one kill can determine the entire round. So not being able to practice that on, good ping and good internet can kind of throw a wrench in your plans to improve in it. So I would look for them to get better at it over time when they're able to practice.
Now, now that E6 is taking that 8th place slot here in Division B, if you're Denial and you're in 7th, I mean, yes, you had a good series, but are you feeling great, or are you kind of like, okay, we're 7th?
You got to be feeling better. The fact they lost yesterday, the way that they lost was unbelievable. And then coming into this series, you had players that were just inconsistent yesterday, stepping up to the plate. Ant was talking about it, Rated and Brack that first map. And that second map, we watched Enigma6 play it yesterday, and they won it in a 6-1 fashion. But today, when I was watching them, they just weren't playing for as much map control as they were yesterday. And then going into that control, obviously the whole second half of the series was just on the side of Enigma6. But that Game 5, yesterday, Denial played it against United, and that was the only map that they took off of them. So obviously they have some comfort in it. And now Enigma6 are 1-5 in Game 5s, and that's truly unfortunate.
Pac, do you think that kind of clutch factor issue for E6 is rearing its head again?
Well, this one they were actually clutching up, in my opinion. They made the comeback. After that momentum they got in the control, they took that over the hard point. They brought the series back.
Almost reverse swept.
Reverse swept is not a horrible term, but they almost made the comeback.
Almost reverse swept.
it's just round 11. That just does happen. That can happen to any team. What just happened to them in that round. And at the end of that game, I actually do think they played that pretty well. Got into some 1v1 situations that they lost. Had they won a couple of those, they could have won that last map more comfortably. That was just a close map. I don't think this match in particular was that issue.
Nameless, if you're the teams that are lower in a division heading into, now their day is done, their 2 weeks are done, they're heading into Anaheim, what are they doing to prepare that's going to be different from, say, the E-Uniteds or the 100 Thieves?
Well, I mean, E-United and 100 Thieves are a lot better than these teams, so they're just refining these little things. If you're Enigma6 or if you're Denial, they need to go straight up fix their hard point, right? It looked okay today, but that's versus E6. So you need to go and figure out exactly what roles you want to run. Don't have any of those thoughts in your mind whatsoever, and just scrim hard point like crazy. That's the only thing you can really do. You go out to the next tournament, hope for the best. If you don't do well, then you have enough, proof to make a roster change after that. So I think that's the next step for them, is just scrim as much as you can.
All right, well, we still have a lot more Call of Duty to be played today, so you can see it on your screen right there. Envy versus Elevate. Both of these teams are going to be looking for a win this week, so definitely an important series for those two. And again, as we kicked things off today, our very last day of this 2 weeks of Division B before heading into CWL Anaheim, Denial got that 7th place over Enigma6, but coming up, we'll be talking Envy versus Elevate.